From the snowy mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters, welcoming you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night, join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Michael Feeley is a former UK police officer and expert witness who uses 17 years of evidence gathering and investigative experience to decipher a secret and complex world of coded messages and languages used by the chosen initiates who hold the key that unlock the doors of knowledge. Now, if this is sounding like a Dan Brown book, you'd be absolutely correct. I mean, this is how interesting this topic is. We're going to get to ancient codes coming on up momentarily, and we want to remind you that at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Michael Feeley, I am very excited to not only have you on the show, but to actually meet you next week at UFOCon 2020 in San Francisco. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for the invite, and look forward to meeting you too in just a few days.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Have you ever been to San Francisco?
No, this will be the first time. Obviously, I've seen the pictures, I've seen them on movies, so I'm quite looking forward to being there physically.
Me too. The only problem with going to the conferences like this in such a great city like San Francisco is you don't actually get to see the city. You're stuck in the hotel because you don't want to miss anything. People want to talk to you. People are dragging you left, right, and center to go hang out, go talk, and talk about information and sharing things. You know, that's the only issue that I have with it, but that's okay. It still means it's going to be a good time, man.
It is. I think I'm speaking last but one on the last day, which is the Sunday. So I've got quite a bit of time to do that before my talk.
Well, that's good. That's good. I hope you do enjoy yourself when you arrive in North America. Michael, for people who may not be familiar with your work around our audience, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us your history. You were a police officer for 17 years.
That is correct. Here in the UK, in England's two biggest cities, and that was dealing with many different types of calls. Could be the first on scene at a homicide, could be the first on scene at a hostage situation, it could be the first on scene of something very, very minor. But he was sort of dealing with these things, piecing evidence together, finding evidence, bringing people to justice, giving evidence in court, which is sort of reflected in my writing, very succinct, to the point, evidential, and really piecing things together that a lot of people wouldn't see because of my background. And that leads me on to what I do now, which is still evidence gathering, but it's evidence gathering sort of deciphering and retrieving codes that have been encrypted within some of the famous monuments and really description of the things across the world.
How did you get into the code scenario? I mean, this is not something that everyday people do.
It's not. I think a lot of it, when you look into the works of Plato and other philosophers, they tell you that knowledge and such things as knowledge and philosophy is really something that is ingrained within you. It's an ancestral knowledge that has come through various lines. Now my genetic line is one of Irish kings and Egyptian pharaohs. So this sort of knowledge, this kind of coded, encrypted knowledge is coming through my bloodstream. Now the red carpet of the Oscar ceremony, which is the blood system. So it's really, a lot of it is an ancient recognition. But even from the age of, probably I remember 6 and a half, 7 years of age, sitting there watching famous movies such as The Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston, which is quite a sort of epic biblical film. And I used to just sit there at the age of 6 watching and just posing adult questions to myself about, is this possible? How can it be? do these characters really exist? Can these characters really have parted an ocean? And so really from a very young age, I was interested in codes and religions and the true meaning. What is it trying to tell us? Because I always felt as if it was trying to tell us something that wasn't being publicly portrayed. And these are the kind of things really that really start my fire. And probably around about 2008, 2009, things started to happen to me in terms of an awakening, which actually involved a consciousness time travel, where I went back in history to witness the last moments of someone's life, in effect. And around this time, there was lots and lots of things happening to me. I was getting strange messages before I went to Egypt from psychic mediums who I didn't know, who just emailed me out of the blue saying that there was going to be an ancient knowledge added to my toolbox. Get as close to the Sphinx as you can on the right hand side, and all of these cryptic messages that just suddenly started, and lots of downloads, lots of information that I was able to piece together and put together and sort of prove really that all of these ancient projects that we are told were individual projects. They tell that Stonehenge was different to the Heads of Easter Island, which is different to the Nazca Lines, which is different to the pyramids of Egypt, which is different to the main pyramids, etc. And I found that actually each of these individual projects was actually part of a grand design, and each of these individual projects were not individual. They were all working as part of a team across the world. And I also found out the likes that these monuments in their longitude and latitude diameters were actually pinpointing their exact location on Earth. But not only that, they were also pinpointing other monuments on Earth and other monuments outside of Earth. So it's almost like a cosmic satellite navigation system within mathematics, within the monuments. So all of this thing really, for me, over a number of years, with my background in sort of evidence and finding evidence and piecing that evidence together to come to an evidential investigative conclusion, I found that I was coming across this ancient code that people weren't talking about, and I was piecing all of these individual places together and putting it all together in a way that I'd never seen anybody else do. And that has happened really over the last 10 years, but to more advanced and more enhanced over the last few years.
Did you believe in all of this spiritual woo that was going on before you started having your own experiences?
I was certainly always open-minded, and I always knew there was something more, and I always believed that there was something more, although I don't have any sort of childhood early recognition of or recollection of anything happening to me. However, certainly in the last few years, I've been told that since coming here, there were plans for me to do this. So quite clearly, something somewhere had obviously got designs on my sort of future alignment to what I was going to be doing, but I can't remember anything from a young age of happening. But I was always open-minded, and I always realised, I always had this innate feeling that there was something more to this than what we're being told, to what the education and schooling system was telling us,
right?
To what our peers were telling us. So I always had that sort of innate knowing that there was something more.
Right. So as you went through your own downloads, your own experiences, what did you make of them when they first started?
It all came very fast and very thick. And as I say, probably around about the year 2007, 2008, it all happened really when my wife and I actually got together, because she'd had many childhood experiences. And when we seemed to have got together, things seemed to happen for me as well. There was some kind of switch that had been flicked, really. So in a very, very short space of time, there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't experience something. I'd go out at night and I'd literally see what you would deem, I don't naturally like the term UFO, but I would see what you would deem as UFOs coming out of wormholes in the sky, dimensional portals opening. I'd be walking through forests and see dimensional portals opening up in amongst the trees. I'd walk out in broad daylight in the middle of a city street and look up in the sky, and there'd be 3 gigantic UFO shaped cigars in the sky. go to an event. I went to an event a few years ago, and lo and behold, I ended up standing next to somebody who was 6'3" with black eyes, not of this world. And there's all of these things that were happening very, very fast. It was almost like a very advanced education in a very, very short space of time. And I've been told the reason for that is in order to speak about it and make sense of it for yourself and other people, you first have to experience it and you have to live through it. And the advanced sort of education that I had in that couple of years was really very intense. And there's a lot of things happening, as I say, involved time travel. It involved close encounters of many different kinds. It included all of these different things that ordinarily you wouldn't see, but I was seeing on a daily occurrence. Having your bedroom door rattle violently at 6 a.m. in the morning, going outside to see what was going on and seeing shadow people walking through bedroom walls. And this was happening sort of on a daily and nightly basis for me.
Well, it's not like London isn't haunted. I mean, it's almost 1,000-year-old city.
Well, it is. I mean, I actually live 100 miles northwest of London, in just outside Birmingham, which is sort of the Midlands area of England. So the area that I live in as well is also steeped in history, and there's lots of things happening all around here with battles and ancient battles and a lot of different things. But I think it was more me. I mean, it didn't seem to matter where I was going. I'd go elsewhere and see things, and outside of my hometown and see things and experience things. It seemed to be attached to me, and I think even if I'd have lived in Florida or Alaska or Antarctica, it would have still followed me, because it was me that had to live through it, and it was me that had to experience it. So regardless of where I was at that particular time, it would have happened regardless.
Do you think you were the only one experiencing it, or were people around you experiencing it at the same time as well?
There were people who were close to me that were experiencing it. The things that I was seeing, I was with the wife, or I was with the wife and a couple of friends. And when we were together as a group, then they would also experience the same thing that I was experiencing. So on many occasions, it was sort of a multiple experience going on. On some occasions, it would be just the wife and myself, and then on other occasions, it would just be me. So, yes, there were other people. When I was seeing UFOs in broad daylight, there appeared to be no reaction to it. So, again, when you look into frequency and vibration and tuning into to see other things of the material realm, then you understand that not everybody can see it at the same time. Sometimes it's only individuals that see it. When you look into how these entities, these non-worldly, non-human entities, can actually put on a mask, and it's only at certain times that certain people can see beyond that mask to see the true appearance. Standing in a public arena, at a public event, a conference, and having a 6'3", a black-eyed entity standing next to you and walking past you in a crowded room that nobody else can see other than you and two other people who you're with, sort of suggests that there's some kind of masking device going on here. And I just happened to see through that particular veil at that particular time.
Do you come from a family of spiritualists who've had these type of experiences, or is this just all your own gift?
Well, my mom seems to have had quite a few experiences. My father, if he has, he doesn't discuss them. So I don't really. I know that when he's been driving at night, he's seen things land in fields, masking or masquerading as aeroplanes, but then separating and landing in fields in the early hours of the morning. So he has had experiences, but he's never really spoken about them. But my mum's had quite a few experiences seeing shadow people and seeing different things. Do I come from a spiritualist, clairvoyant family? No, not really. Not in the terms that you would deem. Again, I think because of my past history, because of certain things, it just seems that I was destined to do this time. And regardless of where I was, regardless of what I was doing, he was timed. It was destined to happen in this lifetime. And I think this is now just running its course. And, when you're on that roller coaster that's going at warp speeds, you can't always change the destiny. You just have to go with it and see where you end up. And it's becoming extremely interesting.
Did you have any of these experiences while you were a police officer?
Yes, many of them. I've experienced potentially a mass landing when I was on night duty, and again I was on night duty with someone that was later turned out to be my wife, and it started off on a night shift where we went to an intruder alarm at a building, burglar alarm, intruder alarm, and we looked up in the sky and we saw two, what I can describe as two parallel shooting stars. Now, to me, shooting stars don't travel in pairs side by side, going at warp speed across the sky. But that was the first incident of the evening. It just had a very eerie, very we're not in control type of feeling. And then that was then followed up by many strange events with underground explosions, with surges of energy, that even the electricity company were extremely confused as to what was going on. We were having street lights just going out over regions of several miles. We were having people call the emergency services saying that there's intruders in the back garden that can see shadows and silhouettes. When we got there was nothing. As we left, they were calling back. It was a very strange evening where people were seeing things in their garden. There was explosions, there was things in the sky. There was a feeling that it's quite an eerie feeling. And then at the end of that shift, my wife and I went home and we sent an email to a local UFO group who we'd had dealings with previously. And as we were emailing them, right in front of our eyes, all of our email system was removed. And then about a minute later, we saw it come back in front of our eyes. It was as if it had been taken, copied, and then put back. From that point on, every time we mentioned certain words on phone calls, it would begin to record. We had an electricity telecommunications engineer come out and find anomalies in the electricity box that connected to our phones outside the house. And he basically said that this shouldn't be there, but he'd never seen it before and he didn't know what it was. From that point on, really, we were being monitored by GCHQ, which is the UK's sort of government headquarters, really, that monitor these kind of things. So our phones were being monitored, our computers were being monitored, and our conversations were being monitored. So they were quite interested in what we were seeing. So I've seen lots of things when I was on duty in the police, and I've seen lots of things when I wasn't on duty in the police. I could be on vacation. The first thing I saw was on vacation in Rome, close to the Colosseum, where there was this strange orb, this strange thing in the sky that was taking different shapes and then separating into several spheres and then going back to one again and darting around the sky. And this was on vacation in Rome. So again, wherever I was, wherever I was going, this was going to be following me.
So you think there was some sort of connection to you? Maybe you were implanted, taken and implanted. What do you know?
I certainly don't know anything of that kind, really. There's certainly, again, I've been told that from the very time here, I've sort of been prepared for this. So where I came from, I don't know. What connection is, I don't know. I certainly have a very, very deep affinity and an extremely close connection to all things that are space. Sometimes I look at the night sky and feel a very, very homesick longing to go back. So there's obviously something going on that I'm not particularly consciously aware of, but there's a lot of things going on in the background, and a lot of things have gone in the background, which are now becoming quite prominent in the foreground. And they have done really since what I would class as my grand awakening in 2009, which involved time travel, which involved a crime that had happened, I didn't know at the time, but it was actually 159 years previously. So there's a lot of things going on in the background which are now becoming in the prominent foreground, and they have been for the last decade, the last 10 years.
Very interesting. When you were a police officer, what was the attitude, as we only got about 2.5 minutes here before we go to break at the bottom of the hour. What was the attitude towards UFOs? And what's the attitude in general in the United Kingdom? Is it much different than what we notice here in North America, where there's a large piece of the population who really couldn't either care or doesn't believe in this, and it's really still considered a fringe taboo topic?
I think it's pretty much the same. I mean, within the police service, there's very few people that will speak outside of the norm because of the fear of how they will be regarded. So that keeps people quiet. So to a large extent, it's only very few people that will open up to you and say, look, I've seen this, I've experienced this. Now, in the UK, it's the same as anywhere else. I find the UK, in many respects, quite backwards in terms of coming forwards. And there's lots and lots of people who have had experiences. There's lots and lots of people who continue to have experiences. But unless you speak to them directly, they don't open up to it. And I do think that we're probably sometimes 5 or 6 years behind other places in the world that are more open to this. Spiritually, that there are a lot of people in the UK are still more interested in pub ghosts and spirits, and of course that has its role, that is its purpose, and that has its place. But it's really not. It's not even 1% of what's really going on. But they seem to be transfixed with, ghosts and spirits and mediumships and going to speak to Aunt Edie who passed 12 months ago.
When you were on the force, did you have a protocol for UFOs? Well,
yes, but I certainly remember one incident when I was on night duty again, and I was at an incident with paramedics and other police officers, and we looked up in the sky, and there was this gigantic ball of fire, which, because we were only about 4 miles away from an airport, I actually believed it was an aeroplane fire. It was so big and prominent in the sky. And it passed over twice, and I actually took a picture of this, and the picture bore no resemblance to this ball of fire. But it passed on the same trajectory twice over us. And about 3 weeks later, my police force helicopter was at an incident, and as it was going back to the airport, its base, it was actually followed by, in the same region that I'd seen, a ball of fire that was recorded on inboard camera. And as a result, the airport refused it landing permission until this ball of fire had actually gone. Now, everything was restricted. Aviation authorities and police, it was all restricted at the highest levels. So you weren't able to, obviously, access that information. It was all hush-hush, but quite clearly, it was probably the same thing that I'd seen just a few weeks before, because it was the exact same description in the exact same area.
Unbelievable. Michael, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. Michael Feeley, author of Ancient Codes. We're getting into the code section. Is everything a code? What's a code? Who's a code? Are you a code? We'll find out from Michael coming up next on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know little brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hello everyone. This is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you with us. Thank you so much. We want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can check all that out while you're listening to the show. Tonight we are talking with author Michael Feeley. He will be speaking along with myself next week at the UFOCon 2020 in San Francisco, California. You can get tickets by going to UFOCon2020.com. We'd love it if you did. And we are talking tonight about The Ancient Code, A Serpent Fire. This is Michael's book that can be found on Amazon. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. The first half went very fast.
Absolutely, it did. Absolutely. Tell us about The Ancient Code, A Serpent Fire.
Yeah, that's probably about 15 months old now. There's been a few books since then. But basically, The Ancient Code is, I've found, for anyone who's seen the Da Vinci Code movie or has read the Dan Brown book, The Da Vinci Code, I've found that this is actually true and that the world is full of this sacred knowledge that has been encoded, and it's been encoded so it will confuse the uninitiated. Now, when there's this sacred knowledge, that there is an aristocracy, an establishment, and they wish to keep and they wish to protect this sacred knowledge. So therefore, they choose who is gifted this knowledge, and in order to hide that, in order to fool those who are not part of that collective brotherhood, that collective club, they encode it and they surround it in metaphors. I found that the whole of religious characters, regardless of whatever religion, it is all a metaphorical meaning, and it is a coded meaning. And with codes, only those who are taught how to interpret will actually get the real and true meaning of the message. And I found that the whole of the world is full of these codes, and that includes the ancient world, your pyramids, your Stonehenge, your heads of Easter Island, your Anunnaki Sumerian scrolls, your King Arthur of myth and legend. All of these things are talking about the same thing, but it's all encoded, and it's a character that has been created to hide their true meaning. I mean, not a lot of people know that the metaphor that people worship Jesus Christ and the May in 2012 prophecy is all connected to the Roswell crash by numerology, by numbers, by earthly location. Now, I can't say what happened at Roswell because I wasn't there, but what I can say is what did happen was a deliberate location, because it's all to do with longitude and latitude and the 33rd parallel of Earth, which encompasses Mount Hermon, and all of these different things that are incorporated into codes. So again, at the talk in San Francisco, I'll go a lot deeper into how these things are connected. The 33rd parallel, the Roswell crash, the character, the fictional character we call Jesus, the Mayan prophecy of 2012 on the 21st of December. All of these things are connected by codes, as are the whole of the world, as are the whole of religious characters, as are all of the scrolls that we see that have come to the forefront in modern history. I found that the whole world is encompassed by a code which protects and which hides and which allows only the people who are taught and chosen to know, it teaches them how to interpret that code correctly. Now, when you've interpreted that code, your whole world changes. The whole of history, as we've been taught, can be disregarded. The whole of these religious characters who are we told to worship, who are coming back to save us, that can be disregarded because it's all encoded, telling you something completely different to what the mainstream is telling you. And that's what I found for the whole of the world, and that's really what that what that was all about.
As you started to sink into this and learn about these codes, how did it first come about for you?
That's probably one of the most difficult questions I've ever been asked, because sometimes these things come to me as an idea. Sometimes they will come to me through what is hypercommunication, which is access to the quantum field of information, which is around everyone. And our cells and our subatomic particles have connection to the whole of the universal knowledge because they communicate to each other and they have access to the knowledge of the universe. Some people call this the Akashic records, but it's really the quantum field of data that is around each and every one of us that I sometimes access. So it's a very difficult question to actually sit down and answer, because it comes to me in various ways. It'll sometimes come as a download. It will sometimes come as an idea, which I'll then research. It'll sometimes come as meticulous research. And sometimes I've spent 5 or 6 hours reading the science report just to get one line, just to get one sentence that I needed to complete a particular puzzle. So it comes in many, many different ways, and it's difficult to say how, because it's just that inner knowing. It's that inner knowing and that inner download of information that everyone has access to, but most people shut themselves off from. When you open yourself up to it, then you have access to all the information that has ever been and ever will be, because it is part of you and you are part of that. So it's many sort of different ways, but it comes to me in an exciting way where I piece things together as an idea. And if you imagine that detective on the movie where they have the mosaic and the piecing all these things together, shuffling around on the board and piecing things together, and that's what happens inside my head. And it comes out as information, as a code, as a gigantic jigsaw piece that fits together. And when you find that the same codes, the same metaphors, the same number sequences, the same symbols, the same hidden meanings are coming out time and time again, regardless of where in the world that is. When I do my talks, the audience think that I'm talking about 101 different things. We go from the Mayans to the Babylonians, to the Sumerians, to the Sidonian city on Mars, to Stonehenge, to the pyramids of Egypt, to all of these things. And people think that I'm talking about 100 different things, but I'm not, because each and every one of these cultures were telling you the same thing and the same message. And actually, everything that you think that I'm talking about is actually one subject, and that all gets brought together at the end. So the whole of the ancient world is telling us, and they are telling us how to transmute our DNA, our genetics, to a higher type of human. What they're trying to do by their intervention, and I was once told, and I quote, "We are not here to rescue you, we are here to help you to rescue yourselves." What they are doing by their presence is what is known scientifically as spontaneous self-organization. What that means is when two frequencies meet, initially they will vibrate at their original frequency, but at some point in that communication, of that connection, the lower frequency will raise itself to the higher frequency and begin to raise at a higher frequency. That is spontaneous self-organization, and that is what their intervention is trying to do. It is trying to raise the vibration of humanity by their presence, and that is really the intervention that people are waiting for. It is already happening. So they're trying to raise our frequencies. So for me, the whole of the world, the whole ancient world, where clearly there has always been an interaction of some kind. Human DNA is not from Earth. It was programmed outside of Earth. The human physical body is not from Earth. It's from the Orion Nebula. So when you look at those two things, that our genetics are not from Earth and our physical matter body is not from Earth, that can only tell you one thing, that we're from outside of Earth. And through panspermia, the seeding of everything, we gravitate towards certain star systems, and the human form as it is has gravitated towards Earth, and we find ourselves on this star system. So my old ancient code, my old philosophy of everything, how do you come to this information? Well, a lot of it's channeled, a lot of it has come from meticulous research, and a lot of it comes from sort of inner knowing, and all those things combined with a passion to know sort of makes the big picture that I've now sort of painted.
At least you're not trying to chase down some satanic ritual at the Vatican, much like the book.
No. But again, you can't help but look into the Vatican because they're quite pinnacle. And again, when you look at, I mean, again, this is just a quick connection. When you look at the Vatican, it comes from the word Vatica. Tica means the third eye. So again, we're talking about the seat of Christ, your Christ consciousness, which is the real metaphor for what that is. When you look at, now let's go from the Vatican to the Mayan pyramids of Tikal, Tika, third eye. So again, you have Rome and the Mayan pyramids, which are immediately connected by consciousness, by an inner code. And you find that throughout the world, this is the same thing. By simple codes, the exact same meaning in different formats. What is Allah to some, what is Christ to some, what is Muhammad to some, what is Yahweh or Jehovah to others, what is Vishnu or Krishna. They are all the same characters, they are all the same thing, but they have a different name. And when you start to realize this and you start to piece together these codes of what they really mean, the world becomes one instead of all of these individual pieces of monuments. It is all just one of the same message, and that is the transmutation of self and how to raise yourself to a higher type of human. And this is really what the whole of the Sumerian Anunnaki scrolls were talking about as well. It's not this, as Zechariah Sitchin has suggested or interpreted. It has a different interpretation, and that one fits into the rest of this ancient code. And that is really telling us, even the elongated skulls of Egypt, of Peru, of Malta, of Stonehenge, of Russia, it's all to do with the transmutation through sound, the sonic resonance chambers of these ancient monuments that were changing the shape of skulls inside the mother's womb, which were sort of to do with sound harmonics, and the transmutation of DNA. All the ancient world are telling us the same thing, and that is really the transmutation of self.
What's the purpose of these codes that you were finding?
There's a message that has been left for us to find. And this message, archaeologists won't find it because it's not in the ground. It's written in stone, it's written in numbers, it's written in mathematics, it's written in metaphors, it's written in codes. It's been left for us to find. Now I believe that these ancient sites, these ancient monuments were not put here by the civilizations that subsequently used them. I don't think the Egyptians built the pyramids because there is no recorded record of them doing so. I think that they found them. I think that there were certain individuals of their society that were switched on and tuned in enough to be taught how to use them. I think that all of these monuments were placed at specific areas on Earth's energy lines, that they became a gigantic electrical network using Earth's energies to create portals to other worlds, to communicate through sound. When you look at the likes of crop circles, now crop circles are not circles, they are oval. And the reason they are oval is because the oval is the geometric shape of thought. And the reason thought is so important is because when people get together as a type 1 civilization, which is a collective consciousness, they create self-radiant balls of light called vacuum domains. Now, these vacuum domains have been seen to create the shapes of crop circles. Those two plasma balls of light have been recorded as having an intelligent conversation between themselves. Now, if human minds can create these self-radiant balls of light, these vacuum domains, which are basically wormholes of the brain, which are connected to the gigantic wormholes of the universe, if we can do that through collective thought, then what collective mind is actually creating these crop circles? Crop circles have encoded within them diatonic ratios, and those diatonic ratios are sound waves that contain languages, the same as the Nazca lines. Their geometric patterns are a shape that have a specific sound, and that sound carries language. You can actually import language on sound waves, and that is what is really the true essence of these Nazca lines, these pictorials, these crop circles all around Earth. They are all a message for us to decipher, And that message is how we escape the bonds of this reality, of this lower third dimensional world. They are teaching us, they are telling us how to do that. And the whole reason for the whole of these world monuments is to tell us that. And it's been encoded. It's been encoded for whatever reason, to protect it from those who would misuse it, to shut it down. Removing the capstone of the pyramid removes your communication with the stars, in effect. So a lot of it is protection. A lot of it is a group of people that wish to keep this knowledge to themselves. But nevertheless, if you look into it deeply enough, there is a message there for us, and that message is to how we transcend our current bondage.
Now, the way I'm looking at these codes, the way you were stating them, to me, it almost sounds like these codes are almost binary in a way.
Well, the whole of the universe is binary. When the universe first started, it most likely started as a monopole, because it had enough energy to be a monopole, and everything then separated into a duality. But a duality, as we see duality, is really the effect of a cause. Everything is dualistic, and I've been told, at times you wonder how you get the information you do, and I've been told that we channel this to you, and these are galactic councils. Now, everything in this universe, whether it's a subatomic particle, 90% of the cells in our body are not ours. The atom is 99.999% empty space. Now, all of the atoms that we now have sitting here, listening or speaking, are not the atoms that we were born with. Every single cell is governed by that universal law. We have DNA that was programmed outside of Earth. We have a body that was created in Orion. We are a 3 billion letter code that is interpreted by spherical bacteria called ribosomes. We have particles which are minute portions of matter, and we have virtual particles. Now, virtual particles have to pay back the energy by disappearing. This is physical death. We have the first law of thermodynamics that says that energy can be changed, but it can't die. We have a standard model of physics that is changing all the time. The law of physics is changing all the time. We have hydrogen, which is protons and electrons, that fueled the first stars. Now all this is duality. All this is a binary. If the proton and neutron mass was just a little bigger, then there would be no fusion, and the universe would be stuck at hydrogen. Now, if the mass difference was slightly smaller, then hydrogen would have fused into helium, and then there would be no power to fuel the stars like the sun, so therefore there would be no life on Earth. Protons and neutrons have a precise mass, and if they didn't, we wouldn't exist. But protons and neutrons and electrons are opposite. The neutron to me is the oneness. The proton and the electron is the positive and negative, which is created 50-50. It is duality. Everything separated from one into duality. And that is how we experience this reality. So all of these codes have a binary meaning. All of the stars have binaries. All of our atoms have binaries. Without this perfect balance, we wouldn't exist. So it makes sense that all of these things come to us as a duality, as a polarity, and that is the reality that we see.
Okay, so when you are looking at these codes that kind of work like binary numbers, which is everything in the universe that we know of so far, do they break down into different segments, different sectors, whether it's health, whether it's UFOs, whether it's paranormal, whether it's just everyday living, forest, nature? Is that how it works as well?
All of these things give the appearance of being a separate entity. So you can take health, you can take paranormal, you can say UFOs, you can take all of these different subjects, and then you can say, well, that is the 99+% that we can't see in our frequency spectrum. Health, what has health got to do with it? Well, the universe is vibratory. It's a frequency. When we eat food, and a lot of people now are eating all these GMOs, food-like, they have zero vibration. Therefore, they're incompatible with a vibratory body. So therefore you have health problems by eating this incompatible vibratory food. How can we raise ourselves to experience what is really out there? By raising our vibrations, by becoming a more pure octave vessel. And that won't happen by the system that we currently tolerate here, by poisoning the food, poisoning our drink, in our water, in our atmosphere, chemical-laden sort of environment. That just serves to lower your vibration to a level of illness. Now, when we start to realise that we are really being imprisoned within this low vibratory system by so many different facets that it's hard to keep track of them all. But hence to say, all of these attempts to keep people at a low vibration in a fight or flight syndrome, because that fight or flight syndrome will prevent them, or in many cases will prevent them from ever going beyond that. So you can look at ELF and you can look at different things, but really, as like I say in my talks, all of these different facets really come down to one thing, which is the self. When you look at all of the ancient codes, when you look at all of the ancient world, when you look at what the likes of the Bible, the Quran, and all these different things are really telling you, it comes down to one thing, which is the self. Everything is within you. You are a miniature universe. What happens above is merely a reflection of what happens inside you. Your electrons orbit the nucleus of an atom in the exact same way that the planets orbit the solar system. The neurons of your brain match the universe, what the universe looks like. If you compare the two, they are the exact match. If you look at a planet and you look at the inside of your eye, they are an almost exact match. We are a miniature universe. But in order to return, we need to reawaken the ancient tools that have been given to us. And they've been given to us by a place other than ourselves, in order to reawaken to these things that they are teaching us, they are telling us, they are leaving the breadcrumbs for us to follow. And the people who have the desire to look into it and to piece it together will find the way. But we have to get rid of these shackles, and we have to get rid of these distractions that are completely irrelevant, because they're keeping us boxed into a place we don't have to be in if we don't want to be.
We've got about a minute and a half left before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Michael Feeley is our guest tonight. With these codes and the way they come together, can anybody notice these patterns?
Of course, everybody's equal. Everybody's the same. Everybody has access to the same thing. If I own a computer and so do you, then we have access to the same information. Now, your body, is the real computer.
Right.
And we will have access
Mike,
to it.
I misjudged the time. I apologize. That's my fault. I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we're going to take a break at the top of the hour. Michael Feeley, Ancient Codes. We continue on Spaced Out Radio right after this.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thielen. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you hanging on out, especially if you're listening in on KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, and KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon. On the digital side, we're proud to broadcast on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Victualler. Victualler is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night, join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. We're talking ancient codes tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Our guest, Michael Feeley, an author out of the United Kingdom. He's got a great book and many more out. We're talking the ancient code and a serpent fire. There's also alchemy of the gods, the secret of Christ. We're going to get into a bunch of these tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you. Welcome back.
Do a lot of these codes and ancient texts refer back to religion?
No, religion has encrypted those codes in its scriptures. And again, just another example. Why did the Bible tell us that Jesus died aged 33? Well, because again, that is code. Number 33 is the number of wisdom and transformation. Now, again, what I said at the beginning, that is a Mayan, a Christ, a Roswell connection, just simply by that number 33. So the impact site of Roswell sits 33 degrees north latitude at a distance of 2,012 miles, nautical miles from the equator. When you get the latitude of the Roswell impact site, 33 degree north, and you multiply that by the universal mathematic constant of pi, you get 104 degrees, which is the longitude of the impact site. So there we have the number 33. Now, when we look at on a map between 0 and 33 degrees in either direction, there's 2,012 miles. That is the 2012 prophecy of the Mayans. Now, to add to that, there was this prophecy incorporated the 21st of December. Well, that's 2112. 21 plus 12 is 33. So again, we have the number 33, the highest level of human consciousness. We have the Mayan pyramids of Tikal. We have all of these things. We even have the Great Pyramid that rests on the bedrock that is 33 feet higher than the Pyramid of Khafre. The Pyramid of Khafre is a terrace that is 33 feet wide. There are 30 2 archways plus the obelisk at the Vatican, which is the number 33. You know, we have all of these different things. When we have Mount Hermon, where Jesus, as mentioned, became illuminated, which sits on an intersection of 33 degrees longitude at 33 degrees latitude. You know, we have the numerical value of New Mexico of 111. Now, 111 times the amount of numbers, 3. 111 times 3 is 333. We have a solar year. When you add up all the numbers of a solar year, it equals number 33. On Newton's scale, water boils at 33. It's the number of transformation and wisdom. The human resonance of 7.83 hertz has a 33-32 ratio, and the human body resonates exactly 33 octaves above this fundamental vibration. Going to the Bible, again, there's so much of this in there. You know, the 33rd mention of Jacob, which is really Jacob's ladder. It mentions Jacob's ladder, the 33rd mention of Jacob. Now, what is Jacob's ladder? It is the human spine, which has 33 vertebrae. It is the highway to your temple, which is Golgotha, the place of skulls, where you become enlightened. Now, the 33 vertebrae of the spine, the 33rd vertebrae is known medically as Atlas. That then takes us into the lost city of Atlantis. Now, when Plato discussed Atlantis, he said it was the island that ruled 7. Well, what did he mean by that? It was a coded meaning. When you look at the pineal gland, which is your master gland, it is situated between the left and right hemisphere of the brain, surrounded by the cerebrospinal fluid. So therefore, the pineal gland is an island. It is the master gland that rules the 7 islands. Those are the 7 chakras, the 7 energy centers that are situated up the spine, the highway to your Christ consciousness. So even just those few little things there give you an impact. Just the number 33, how it's all connected. And that is one of many, many codes. So the Bible has encrypted the use of these codes in its scriptures, as has the Quran, as has the Talmud, the Torah, the Granth. All of these religious Bibles around the world have encoded these ancient metaphors and these ancient codes within them. So they've actually used them to hide the truth.
In the occult, and I'm thinking Aleister Crowley here, the numbers 369 were always very powerful, and everything always seemed to equal out to the number 93 as well, which would equal out to 333. What's the importance of 369?
3, 6, and 9, when you look at vortex mathematics is really torus anatomy. It is base 10 mathematics, which is the creation of the human body. Now, what is known as a flow field, the numbers 1 to 9, with the exception of 3, 6, and 9, they will repeat to infinity as part of that torus anatomy, that vortex and mathematics. Now, in vortex mathematics, the numbers 3, 6, and 9 are other dimensional numbers, and they are not part of the flow field of the other numbers. They are special numbers. When you look into the universe, everything really comes down to those numbers in different, all the platonic solids equal 9. We have all of these different things that equal 9. We have the 9 stages of alchemy. We have the 9 pyramids of Egypt. You know, we have the 9 gods of Egypt. Number 9 is esoteric man. It is completed man. So all of these different things relate to these out-of-worldly numbers that have a different energy. And when you look into the work of Nikola Tesla, he tells you that these numbers are the keys to the universe because they are beyond the third dimension. They are actually the creation of a portal between the third and the fourth dimension are by use of these numbers. So there's lots and lots of instances where 3, 6, and 9 are heavenly numbers. And again, talking in code, when we look at the number 153, which again is a master number, it is a number of knowledge. 153, 1 plus 5 plus 3 gives us the number 9, which is completion. Now, when we look at the likes of the Bible and Egypt, we can connect them, or I've connected them by the number 153. When you look at the Bible, when Jesus was resurrected, he went with the disciples and they caught exactly 153 fish. The net was on the right side of the boat. That is the right brain. 153 is the number of consciousness and knowledge. Now, when we look at Mary Magdalene in Greek Demetria equals 153. So Mary Magdalene has connection to the Christ 353. When you get to the Great Pyramid of Egypt, the entrance is on the 17th course level. 17 steps up is where the entrance to the Great Pyramid sits. If you add up all the numbers from 1 to 17, it equals 153. When you go inside the Grand Gallery, there are 153 steps, and it is 153 feet long. Now, contrary to what mainstream tell you, the ancients were using the same mathematics that we use today, and they were using different mathematics that we don't recognize yet. It's a mathematics that's advanced. But all of those things are just connected simply by the number 153. And then again, that takes you then into sacred geometry. The 153 is the center ring of the Vesica Piscis. So we have all of these connections just by one simple number. We can connect all of these ancient principles. So the number 9 is completed man. It's esoteric man. It's knowledge, which leads to 153, which connects Egypt to Christ to Mary Magdalene. And that is just one simple equation.
I never knew that. I'm going to be honest, that is way above my pay scale, man. Way above my pay scale when it comes to thinking about that, because I've never been taught that is that belief, much like a lot of other people out here who are listening tonight may not have that type of recollection or understanding of how the numbers work, especially in their personal lives or their religious beliefs. So with the numbers being so equal to setting everything up and showing these patterns, is that set up in a godly way, or is that set up on purpose, or is it something completely different that's just natural to the evolution of Earth?
Well, mathematics was discovered. It wasn't created by man. So man, as a long time ago, the ancient man, the ancient wisdom, the ancient wise ones have discovered that certain numbers have certain energies, and they've incorporated these energies, these sacred, what has already been sacredly created, and they're basically using it to their own means. Now, again, let's look at numbers. In gematria, Christ equals 77. Now, by a simple equation, 7 times 7 equals 49. What is the significance of 49? Well, on day 49, a newly developed fetus drinks the DMT from the brain. That is the Last Supper, because supper comes from soup. Soup means to consume a liquid. It is DMT. And that DMT on the 49th day is when the fetus drinks DMT from the brain. When we look at other numbers, the marriage of Osiris and Isis in Egypt gives you the mathematical equation of 6/5, which musically, by sound, is squaring the circle, which is connecting the physical and the metaphysical world. That is why there is a double archway, a double chevron above the entrance of the Great Pyramid. It's the Shibur. It means where the two worlds meet. You have to master both of them in order to transcend. 6/5. 6/5 gives you the indal ring, which is the geometry of DMT. It gives you the geometric shape of nitrogen and carbon. It gives you the Polaris diagram, which is the hand symbol of the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is really Our Lady and Christ. Isa is Jesus in Arabic. Mona is Our Lady. It is Mary Magdalene, not Mother Mary, but Mary Magdalene and Christ. When you look at geometry, it's 6/5. When you look at the Pyramid of Deshua, it's 6/5, which equals 11, which is the conveyor of divine light. When we look at Adam and Eve, the Vav and Hay of the Hebrew language, that is 6/5. There is all these references to these universal numbers that are being used for these sacred means, for this philosophy. When you look at the word philosophy, it incorporates the word phi, which relates to the number 5. It is really the workings of the cosmos, philosophy, the study of wisdom, the study of knowledge. And these ancient people have put together this magnificent knowledge, but they've encrypted it. And there are many reasons for them encrypting this knowledge, and one of them is to protect it. Another one is to keep it to themselves to their own advantage. But there is a wonderful world of codes and knowledge, and it's not just scripture, which is merely a script in the way that it's been taught, but it's also all of these magnificent ancient monuments around the world. Mathematics is pinnacle because in the longitude and latitude they are giving their precise location, and they are giving you the location of other monuments, not only on Earth, but throughout the cosmos. And that is through mathematics, that is through numbers. And as Pythagoras said, all is number. Now, it's not necessarily the number that we see, because they are basically man-made mirrors of numbers that already exist. Now, but all of these numbers exist across the universe, and they are being used and they are being sought after by these sacred groups.
Interesting. I got a question coming from Twitter from Greco, who is asking, from the testimony you have given, it sounds like as if some sort of genetic marker has been identified in your body. Do you believe this may be the connection or blessing that allows you to have your own experiences?
When you look into why do the likes of members of the royal family marry into their own family? Now, the mainstream tell us that the likes of Prince William, Prince Harry has married a commoner outside the royal family. That is incorrect. They can only marry their own bloodline. Now, the only reason that they can marry their own bloodline is because they realise that the pathway of knowledge runs through the blood, through their genetics, through their ancestral knowledge, which is the X chromosome, which is really the true identity of Planet X, of the Anunnaki story. It is your X chromosomes that take your ancestral knowledge. They also believe that by incest, they are maintaining this sacred knowledge which will pass from generation to generation. Now, this has been proven. In 2007, Japanese scientists implanted messages inside the bacteria of human DNA. That message was E equals MC squared in the year 1905, and they proved that that message will continue indefinitely for as long as those genetics remain intact. A couple of years ago, inside the neutrinos of DNA, human scientists have entered messages inside the neutrino subatomic particles of human DNA. So it proves that this genetic knowledge, this ancient knowledge, can actually pass through a particular bloodline, through particular genetic lines. And that is really why they mix with their own blood type to maintain this linear red carpet of the Oscar ceremonies, etc., which is symbolic of this bloodline. They mix their own genetic line because it passes that sacred knowledge from one generation to the other. My lineage, my genetic lineage, is of Irish kings and Egyptian pharaohs. So that knowledge will pass through my blood to me. There will be, and again, when you look at Plato, he tells you that this is really recognition. It is an ancient recognition that comes with you through your genetic line. Now, that being the case, some of this information that I have come across is something I already know. The symbols that I see are something that I've already seen and that I recognize because it's in my blood, it's in my fingerprint. And that is really the philosophy of maintaining this bloodline, because this genetic knowledge will pass from generation to generation of the same bloodline. So in answer to the question, most likely that it came from the past, but it's also coming from an outside source that is really enhancing a past bloodline knowledge.
Does that include Rh negative blood?
That is not a bloodline that is traced to anyone back on Earth. It is a bloodline that is not part. Rhesus negative is not a earthly bloodline, and there is a very, very small percentage of Rhesus negative people who seem to find themselves in these positions of power. They find themselves in these positions of power because it is in their blood, it is in their DNA, it is in their genetic fingerprint that they must ascend to these levels, and that is why the pharaohs of Egypt are related to royalty. Royalty are related to American presidents, and American presidents are related to each other, because it is this bloodline of aristocracy where it is in their makeup that they will ascend to these levels, because it is their inner knowledge. So, as I said at the beginning, human DNA is not from Earth. The human body is not from Earth. The only conclusion from that is it's from elsewhere, and that includes blood types. Why are there so many different races on Earth, different appearances of races? Because of their genetic crossovers. Why are there so many different races of extraterrestrials? Because of their genetic crossovers. It is their genetics that have been programmed elsewhere that formulate their appearance, that formulate them, and that is not from Earth.
So for the regular commoners, what is different about our blood comparatively to royal blood?
Well, it's the genetics within that blood. It is purely the genetics. Now, that genetic carries a certain knowledge, and that knowledge goes from generation to generation. As I was saying about, everybody has access to the quantum field. Everybody has access to the quantum data that is connected through cells, through subatomic particles, through even smaller than subatomic particles. We all have access to this knowledge, but what they're doing is they're passing this knowledge through their bloodline. And it is an ancient recognition, it is an ancient knowing that they pass from generation to generation. And it's been argued scientifically that if you come from a family who have always been farmers, then it is in your genetic makeup to be a fantastic farmer, and you will carry on that trait, because that is your knowledge, your soul knowledge, your genetic knowledge, your genetic fingerprint of that knowledge. You will continue that line. If you are a king or a queen or a high priest, you pass that on to other high priests, you pass it on to other kings, you pass it on to other queens, and they too become part of that line. So it doesn't stop anybody doing anything. Everybody really is equal. It's just that there is this it's like going to the library and there's only certain people who have access to a special book. Only those who read that book will have the knowledge of that book. And this is really, your genetics are a book. And when you look at the Decipher, which is basically an ancient book of 2,000 words, it tells you that human DNA is a book of 7 chapters. And the first chapter, no one has actually got past the first chapter yet, but the first chapter basically says the God within. And it's really a book, it's a genetic book, it's a genetic language that we've yet to decipher. Now we have junk DNA that is not junk, it controls gene expression. We have RNA that passes on instructions to DNA, and DNA passes on that instruction through the double helix, which is your Enki and Enlil of the Anunnaki story, the Shetai, the Snake Brothers. We have a 3 billion letter code that doesn't include that junk DNA that are interpreted by ribosomes. We are basically a genetic code. We are a 3 billion letter genetic code book. And that genetic code has a language. It speaks to each other. The languages that we are speaking now, and we speak across the earth, are mirrors of genetic languages. So our words are really genetics.
Right. On that note, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. This show flying on by. Our guest tonight, Michael Feeley, Ancient Codes, all night long on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We're bringing you something new to the documentary world. Beyond the Spectrum will take you on an historic tour of topics like no other: Sasquatch, UFOs, government secrecy, and more, keeping you on the edge of your seats through the eyes of legendary truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Casher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or Tubi TV and check us out. Please leave a comment for the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd Psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you all with us. Want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can check those on out while you're listening to the show. Author Michael Feeley tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're talking ancient codes all night long. Michael will also be appearing at UFOCon 2020. That starts next week on the 20th of this month, running through the 23rd in San Francisco, California. You can get your tickets now at UFOCon2020.com. We'd love to meet you there. I will be speaking there as well. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
No problem. No problem at all. All right, let's get to some questions in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Hotterock is asking, do codes affect who we are attracted to for mates?
A good question. Your vibration does, because they say, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. The universe is frequency and vibration, and you tend to find that your vibration attracts you towards a certain music, a certain sound. It attracts you towards certain people. When I was in the police force, and I'd go to domestic incidents, and usually it was the female who was a victim. Not always, but usually the victim was female. And when you look into their history, you will find that they have a long history of men who treated them and abused them the same way. Now, they seem to emit a certain vibration, and that vibration attracts other vibrations. Everything in the world of vibration works as a compatibility. And whatever you put out there as a vibration, again, it's the world of thermodynamics. What you put out there as a vibration is what you attract. Some people may have seen The Secret, the law of attraction. That's basically the second law of thermodynamics. What you put out there, you get back. So in a roundabout way, your vibration is what attracts your mate. But again, your genetics, your cells are also vibratory. They are also vibrating at the same frequency. And you can alter your vibration. You can alter your consciousness. You can alter your mind. You can alter your thoughts. Thoughts is really what the Egyptian god Teote was telling us. Teote is thought. And all of these things we can alter. We can alter our vibration. When we alter our vibration, we attract a more positive vibration to us. So the answer is yes, but it goes a lot more deep and a lot more scientifically than obviously I have time to do today. But the answer is yes, your vibration attracts what comes into your life.
All right, let's move on here. Let's go over to Twitter. Derek is asking, how do numbers and these codes affect crop circles?
That everything, even geometry, is mathematical. So every geometric shape will have a mathematical sequence. When you look at the Mandelbrot set, which appeared as a crop circle, I think in the 1990s, the Mandelbrot set is basically a complex mathematical system that can only be replicated by computer. Now, the Mandelbrot set became a crop circle in the 1990s. It is infinity. It is the mind of the creator. It is infinite. So every geometric shape will be attached to a number sequence. So therefore, everything in the universe follows a mathematical code, and sacred geometry is a branch of mathematics. Mathematics is mathema, which is to know. It's a knowledge. It's an ancient knowledge that is being given to us in many different ways, and crop circles and Nazca lines and the longitude and latitude locations of these famous monuments are ways in which this mathematics is being translated to us. So mathematics takes the form of sacred geometry, which is a universal design. And as I was saying in the break, when I went to a crime scene, and we had what was known as, in Latin, in legal terms, we have a modus operandi, which means a method. People perpetrate crimes with the same method. So if you go to the 10th crime that week that has had the same method, you can conclude that it's the same person who's committed those 10 crimes. The same with the universe. You can conclude, because it's the same design, everything follows the same pattern, everything follows the same design. So you conclude that it's the same intelligent designer who has designed the whole of the universe. Mathematics, sacred geometry are two branches of that wondrous intelligent design.
All right. Let's continue on with the questions. Go back to Twitter here with Greco, who is asking at #SpacedOutRadio, is this some sort of genetically engineered destiny to ascend to a certain position in life?
An exceptionally deep question. How do we ascend? What is ascension? Well, ascension is, for me, a higher vibration. You know, when you go into New Age circles, and I've been in those circles for a number of years and come out of it because I was no longer compatible through that vibration. For me, when you raise yourself, when you become aware, when you become self-aware, that self-awareness gives you the blueprint of universal creation, because that creation is you. You are a reflection, you are a mirror of that grand design on a smaller scale. So when you understand self, you automatically begin to have a higher vibration. You begin to become different. You see reality different. Your bandwidth in computer terms, it expands, and your knowledge base expands, and the things that you experience and see expand. Are people destined? There is a good argument for that. There's a good argument that we come here many times, and the reason we come here many times is, for one, we're caught in the Genesis cycle, which is the birth and death cycle. But another one of those arguments is that it takes us a long time to actually get this philosophy, to get this understanding of who we are, where we're from, and where we're going. How do we ascend? For me, we ascend by expanding ourselves, by bettering ourselves. The natural evolution of anything is to constantly advance. And if you are constantly advancing, you are ascending. Talking of compatibility, when we do leave this place and we become a memory in this quantum field, therefore, you know, sometimes we can become ghosts, or we can be seen as ghosts, because they can operate in and out of the spiral of time. Time really is atomic. It is the oscillation of the cesium atom. Time is really one continuous snapshot. So therefore, the past, the now, and the future is one continuous line. And when you look outside of the linear line into lateral time, you can see that continuous line. And that is how there are certain races that can predict, if you continue to follow this line, this will be the outcome. And that is really is the philosophy of a spiritual reading or psychic reading. For me, how we reconnect is how we ascend. And how we ascend and how we reconnect is by self-knowledge. And that really is the foundation stone, the building block of all the ancient Gnostics of the world. That is the self, and your self will automatically ascend you to a higher vibration.
All right, let's continue on with the questions. Joey is asking if you are familiar with the Voynich code.
I've not heard of it in those terms. What, in brief essence, what is it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay.
I just asked the questions. Let me look it up here.
Okay.
My fingers would type for me tonight. All right. The Voynich manuscript is an illustrated codex handwritten in an unknown writing system. The vellum on which it was written had been carbon dated to early 15th century, and it may have been composed in Italy during the Italian Renaissance.
Okay. Well, again, if it's not a language that we're aware of, it's going to be an outside language. Language is DNA, is genetics. What we're speaking, the audible sounds that we are making, is a reflection of genetics. So language is genetics. Genetics are not from Earth, so it stands to reason that there are languages that we don't understand. The hieroglyphs are a language, they're a sound language. The Hebrew alphabet, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet are a language. These things are telling us, don't always rely on carbon dating, because it's not always accurate. These things are hundreds of thousands and millions of years old in some respect. When we find a language that we don't understand, it's a genetic code that we've not yet discovered. But there are so many things. The laws of physics, we are told, can't be changed. And yet, scientists are now observing electrons turn into muons, which are basically 200 times greater in mass than the electron. In the standard model of physics, the law of physics, this can't happen. But now it's beginning to be observed to happen. So the laws of physics, all of these things that we feel and think we understand, we don't understand. So what was the model of physics that's how it is. We can't break the laws of physics, are now being broken, are now being changed. So everything is being expanded, our understanding is being expanded, and there will be all of these new discoveries because they are an integral part of this code, of this message.
All right, let's continue on here. Hadarok is asking, does reincarnation work through codes?
Reincarnation is really somebody stuck in this cycle of virtual particles. Virtual particles have to return the energy that they borrowed. That is the explanation of physical death. Does reincarnation include a code? Yes, because your DNA is encoded. And what makes your torus anatomy that starts off in the shape of a serpent, which is the apple of Eden, the electromagnetic grid of the torus anatomy, the base 10 mathematics, what makes your genetics know that it's a right arm, that it's a left arm, that it's a left leg, that it's a right leg? How does your DNA genetics know that it's a big toe? Because it's programmed, it is encoded. Everything is encoded with an intelligence, so it automatically knows what to do and when to do it and where to go. So your reincarnation is really, you will still have a memory of that blueprint. You will still have, wherever you turn out to be, and again, there is now an argument that you actually come back as the same person time and time and time again. You will still have that code. You will still have that cellular memory. You will still have that imprint in the quantum data that is around you. So everything involves codes, genetically, physical bodies, DNA. Everything is encoded with an intelligent design that is timed, that is told what it is, where it is, and when it should be what it is.
Now, what about for those who say that you reincarnate to try and get to a higher level of ascension spiritually?
Well, in order for spirit to evolve, there has to be a material creation. That material creation is what we know as the universe. That is in order for spirit to evolve. Essentially, when we are not in a physical incarnation, which is not, the physical body is not physical. Nothing in existence is really solid. Everything is a collection of particles which are not solid. They are 99.99999% empty space. So even the things that we think are solid are not solid. Even ourselves. When we are not in this body, we are essentially formless particles of part of a grand design of consciousness, of awareness. So do we need to come back several times in order to learn? Well, yes, of course we do, because we're not going to learn this in one time, in one shot. You know, sometimes you live to your 30, sometimes you're 50, sometimes you're 112. You're not going to do that in one go. All of these, every conceivable possible option may have to play out first. But we come back time and time and time again. Some people remember their past lives. I don't. I've been told that my connection is to the high priesthoods of Egypt, of ancient Egypt, but I have no memory of that other than the recognition of aspects of their teachings, of their knowledge. That is the cellular memory that I have of that connection. But yes, people come back many times in order to advance, to raise vibrations, to evolve their spirit, which requires physical mass, a material existence in order to evolve.
All right. Let's continue on with our questions, as we've got about 6.5, 7 minutes before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Our guest tonight, author Michael Feeley. We're talking ancient codes. The lovely and talented Stephanie in our Spreaker chat is asking, when did you realize, Michael, that you were beginning to, quote unquote, wake up?
As I said, from a very, very early childhood, I think I was already largely awake, although it had no physical expression, it had no physical words to explain the feeling that I was having. And it was a feeling that there's more than this. This is not making sense. Now, for a 6-year-old to be having those kind of adult conversations is, for me, I think is different. I don't know, but I was having these conversations. So to a large extent, I was already open to the fact that there was more going on. Now, I went through childhood as a very timid, very quiet, very shy, didn't like social gatherings, didn't like social events. I would happily come from school, go into my bedroom, listen to music, and just be there by myself all day, all night. And it's almost a happy isolation, antisocial, happy isolation. So I don't recall anything supernatural or paranormal at that stage. When it started to approach what I would deem as the event that really, really awoke me, involved, in essence, a conscious time travel, not physical time travel, but a conscious remote viewing time travel. And that was in the year 2009. There's a few instances leading up to that, but I would put that as my pinnacle pivot point in the realization, in the change of life, because it is that time that pretty much forced me out of my first marriage, which was my career in the police force. It was so great. It was such an event that after 17 years, now bear in mind in 8 years' time I would have been retired. That would have been, me putting my feet up and living the rest of my life doing what I wanted to do. But there was such a great event that pretty much kicked me out of that career. And moving up to the likes of 2010, when I just had this gut feeling that I needed to go to Egypt, and then I get strange emails saying that you will help uncover more insight and translate ancient knowledge brought to us from great distance, and this was in 2010. So all of these things were around about the 2009, 2010 time when I really began to realise that what I felt of as a 6-year-old child was really true, and that there is more. And the way things come to me now, where it used to be observational, where I used to be an eyewitness to all of these things, now it comes to me in ancient knowledge, and through dreams it will come to me as mathematical equations, which when I look into them, they take you back to a sacred ancient knowledge. So probably 2009 was my sort of time traveling pinnacle. It was then from then that my life really turned.
All right, let's head back to Twitter. I think we got some time here to get one more question in. And let's go to Andrew. Andrew says, your ideas seem close to Madame Blavatsky's theosophy, upon which David Icke has built a career. Do you identify with his teachings and reflections of people like this?
When you look into this kind of world, when you enter into their world, you come across a lot of different characters, and the occultist Madame Blavatsky was obviously one of them. You have Albert Pike, you have Aleister Crowley. You can't help but come across these people. And David Icke is one such person. I've actually sat through a 9-hour talk of David Icke's, and he talks a lot about consciousness, but he also talks a lot about the hidden hand that politically rules the world. So when you enter a boxing ring, don't be surprised if you see boxers. Is all I would say. When you enter into this kind of arena, you cannot help but come across the Kabbalah, the Gnostics, the alchemists. Now, the word priest is really magician. You can't help but enter into that arena. So you come across different aspects of teachings of lots of different individuals. The true philosophy of all this, of course, regardless of who's saying it, is yourself. And the old principle of Gnosticism, which is knowledge, is self-knowledge. And that is really the sacred teachings that all of this is hiding. It is the knowledge of self. And the way in which they're keeping us away from that knowledge of self is by the worship of icons outside of ourselves. And it's this wonderful, intricate system that they've managed to generate for thousands of years that are basically people now are the Minotaur in the maze. And that is symbolic of forever being in a world of ignorance, being stuck in the maze. And when you start to enter their world, you start to read their mind, you start to read what it's all about and the true ethos of what they're really hiding.
Interesting. Very interesting. We only got about a minute and a half left here. I'll sneak in this question, and if we got to carry it over, we will. It comes from Greco on Twitter, who is asking, how does one recognize codes from everyday industrial math? And once this recognition is coherent enough, how would an average person learn of their role in the world with this newfound ability?
People, on average, it is stated that people will see at least 1,000 symbols per day. Now, every single automobile logo that you see hides a code. Buildings, architectural buildings, hide a code. Especially a church, when you look at a church, there are so many hidden codes in that building. It is a Bible in itself. How can people recognize it? By learning what these codes mean, by learning what these codes are hiding. By how will it enhance your life? Well, it's enhanced mine because I know what they're trying to say. When I look at a church, when I look at a building, when I see an automobile logo, when I see a company logo, I read a different language. And if you wish to read that language, then you just understand what that code means. You understand what that geometry means. You understand the minds of the people who created that symbol. You understand what they're trying to say. You understand. You go into their world, as I said in the last question. When you enter into their world, you speak their language, which is a different language to what is being spoken by the public.
Right.
When when the public go to church on a Sunday, what they're being told is not what's being written. It's an interpretation, but it's a misinterpretation.
And on that note, I'm going to get you to hold on, Michael, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Author Michael Feeley is on Spaced Out Radio tonight. We got another half hour of talking about ancient codes and texts. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, we'll get to the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio continues. Your questions as well. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thielen. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
We're underway in the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Always appreciate having each and every one of you tune in live. Thank you so much. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KDNF AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, or make that, Reedsport, Oregon, or Dangerfield, Texas, pardon me, and KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California. On the digital side, we're proud to broadcast on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Victualler. Victualler is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. For the final time tonight, we introduce Michael Feeley. He's an author out of the United Kingdom talking about ancient codes, and an interesting, intriguing show it's been. And if you're in the San Francisco area next week from the 20th through 23rd, you can meet Michael, you can meet myself, and many others at the UFOCon 2020 at the in San Francisco. Go to their website, ufocon2020.com. We'd love to be able to shake your hand and meet you as well. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Thank you again.
All right, we got a few questions from our audience. We're going to continue with them. Go over to Twitter with Greco, who is asking, how does one recognize codes from everyday industrial math? Oh, I think we did that one. I believe we snuck that one in. So let's go over to Joey here, who is asking, do you have any evidence of algorithmic trading or substitution of the DNA code by superior but less scrupulous civilizations?
The only evidence of that really is the limits that seem to have been placed onto genetics. You know, why do people age? Because it seems to be a code to make us age. these are unscrupulous things, because we really should be replenishing as we do in our early age, when our cells change every 7 years. That should continue throughout life, but it doesn't. It suddenly stops at a certain age. That really would suggest some kind of outside programming to have sabotaged that. As I was saying at the beginning, human DNA has been encoded outside of Earth. It is an intelligent design. It is an intelligent language. It is a blueprint for design that is timed for specific times at a specific location. It is a program. Of course, if our scientists can impregnate and implant codes and messages into human DNA, then of course, if you have advanced scientists out there, then they can do the same, and they can do more. So the evidence of that would suggest to me to be this limiter on life that has been encoded into that sort of DNA design. But of course, there are great scientists on Earth that can do that. So there must be some advanced scientists outside of Earth that can also do that.
All right. Excuse me. Let's get to the questions on Twitter. The one that I missed from Greco, which is, it is not known if all royalty has these certain genetic markers, but do we know which alien races these genetic markers come from? What's known, or what known info may point us to our alien origins?
We are the aliens, because we're not from Earth. So if we wish to look at what an alien is, then by definition, it's ourself, because we are not from Earth. We are here by other means. What alien races do what? That's difficult. It's difficult to answer, because alien races, the same as ourselves, have a genetic makeup. They follow a mathematical sequence. We follow phi, which is a mathematical sequence. So do they. Their whole design is mathematical. Their genetics have been programmed just like ours by a grand designer. We just gravitate towards certain star systems. We came to Earth. They may have gone to the Pleiades or Sirius or wherever. The whole of DNA, to me, is a centralized programming. And that centralized programming through panspermia, the seed of all, has been spread out across the universe. Now, the universe is teemed with life. There is no space. Everything is full with something. Simply because we can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. We know it's there because the invisible influences what we can see. So therefore, there is the presence of something that we can't see. All of these conclusions is that we are all aliens. We are all programmed from elsewhere, and we just gravitate towards certain star systems, which is what we physically relate to. But the British Royals of England, what alien race is their bloodline? Well, maybe the same as everybody else's. There's just different strands of DNA, there's different programming, hence the reason there are so many different appearances. It's all to do with the crossover of genetics, that your gene pool. But that genetics were programmed outside of Earth and just ended here. So it's really difficult to pinpoint exactly what family relates to what particular race, because we are all starseeds. And regardless of where you are now inhabiting, you are still a starseed.
All right. When it comes to extraterrestrials, you also have written about the Anunnaki and the role that they play in everything. Where do you go with that?
The Anunnaki, again, I have a different interpretation. Now, I always stress that I have seen beings not from here. I have seen craft that I believe is not from here. I can never say who is piloting them. It could be advanced technology of ours, I don't know. But I've seen craft that I believe to be theirs. I've seen entities that are not from here. So I understand that there are these races amongst us. So I'm not for one moment saying that the Anunnaki, or what you would deem to be the extraterrestrial race that is the Anunnaki, doesn't exist. What the interpretation that I see in the Anunnaki scrolls, the Sumerian scrolls, is again one of genetics, but not the genetics that they took the ape or primal man and created Homo sapien. what I see is a code of how to transmute to a higher type of human. And that really is the Anunnaki story. If you start analysing the different aspects of the story in terms of names and what they mean, in Sanskrit, which is one of the earliest earthly languages, Anunnaki comes from atom or atomic, and one who possesses heaven. So therefore, Anunnaki is basically life from the atom, life from heaven, the atoms from the sky, which is what I was saying a few moments ago, is really referring to ourself. When you start looking at some of the tablets, and there's one particular one where the Anunnaki is sitting there and you have what appears to be the sun with 11 spheres around it, and people are saying that this is the early solar system, and it indicates a solar system. What I found that it doesn't. What it actually indicates is the nuclear hexagram. Now, that is known as the hexagram 11. That has a nuclear hexagram, which is the center, and the hexagram 11 are the 11 spheres around it. Now, that really means Qian and Kun, which is heaven and earth. Again, it's referring to life outside of Earth that has come here. Now, the heart of every hexagram, that is a nuclear hexagram. And nuclear is really the nucleus of an atom. So the elder, the Anunnaki, is about the atoms and how we transmute to a higher type of human. When you look at the chief god Anu, Anu in Sanskrit means atom. And when you look at Enki and Enlil, the Shetty, the snake brothers, that is really the double helix of DNA, which is the positive and negative polarity of opposite twist. Again, we're going back to duality, that's positive and negative serpent of DNA. Now, when we look at the likes of Alalu, now Alalu was meant to have been the supervisor of the gold expedition, where the Anunnaki came to Earth to mine for gold to replenish the dwindling atmosphere of their planet. Now, Alalu, again, when you look at ancient languages of Earth, Alalu means wave genetics. And a wave genetic is the process of using resonant waves and certain electromagnetic wave to affect the genes of DNA. So Alalu is wave genetics because DNA begins as a waveform, a pulsating wave of invisible genetic information that creates waves through gravitational force. This is really Alalu. So you have Anu, which is the atom, Enki and Enlil, which is the double helix of DNA, the snake brothers. You have Alalu, one of the main characters, which is wave genetics. You have Adamu and Tiamat in the Garden of Eden, Eridu. Adam means earth. Tiamat is the primordial forces of creation. So again, we're talking about the creation of life on earth. Adam, earth, Eve, life. How do we experience life on earth? Through the physical body, which is genetics. The Garden of Eden, or Eridu, is the human body. And the apple of Eden is really the electromagnetic torus energy that pulsates consciousness around the nervous system of the body. Now, when you look at the Akkadian language, which includes Sumer, Nibiru means crossing or point of transition. Now, that's important because Planet X is really your X chromosome, your ancestral knowledge, your Planet X. In Gematria, the numerical value of letters and word, Planet X equals 552. Now, the three letters of the word DNA equal 114. Therefore, if you add Planet X and DNA, 552 plus 114, it equals 666, which is man. Man is the beast, the number of the beast. There are 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons in your atoms. That is the composition of carbon. You are the carbon footprint. Man is the beast. That is Planet X and DNA. It is man. It is talking about man, the fusion between the man and beast. So the older the Anunnaki story, to say that they brought the moon here 450,000 years ago through what is known as a tidal rhythmite, you can prove that the moon was in its current position 2.2 billion years ago. So therefore, the Anunnaki did not bring the moon 450,000 years ago. They couldn't have done. It also says on the Sumerian scrolls that when the Anunnaki arrived here, they found life on Earth. Well, without the moon, there is no life on Earth because the moon is a planetary stabilizer that was put there to keep the Earth at a 23.5 degree tilt And that 23.5-degree tilt makes the planet warm. It makes the oceans a liquid. Without the moon, there is no life on Earth, so the Anunnaki did not bring the moon. So all of these different things, when we look at the famous handbag that is seen on many ancient depictions, and people say, there's many different theories as to what it is. It really represents, the handle represents the arc, 180 degrees, which in mathematics is 1 pi radian. Pi, in the hypersphere, the geometric higher dimensions, means consciousness. When you look at the main bag, the square, it represents the material realm. So the handle is the bridge above the material. The whole of the Anunnaki story is really how we transmute to a higher type of human, and their search for gold is the search for the Philosopher's Stone, which is the search for this sacred wisdom.
Do you believe the Anunnaki is the creator of life on Earth?
No. I believe that the creator of life on Earth is the same creator that created everything. And I think that the whole universe was seeded from the same eureka moment of thought, which created manifestation through the energy of thought. And the Anunnaki, again, I'm not disputing that there are extraterrestrial races that can tinker with DNA. We can do that ourselves. We do that ourselves. So it's not beyond the world of probability that there are alien races that can do that. But they did not create life on Earth. Life was created elsewhere.
All right, let's get to Greco's question on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. Do humans possess the brain capacity and lifespan to understand the universe? Is ascension the point of unlocking the codes, perhaps the point of life itself?
We have the brain capacity, but we have limitations put on us. Now, for argument's sake, when you look at the speed of light to me is a speed limit that the human body cannot go beyond. Now, the reason it cannot go beyond is because of the binding of subatomic particles. You have quarks and you have leptons. They bind together to form matter. Now, at the speed of light, they cannot form. They cannot bind together. So therefore, at the speed of light, there is no matter in our physical terms. So we do have the capacity to do certain things. We have the capacity to expand our mind to the size of the universe, because it is the universe. We have the capacity to encompass all the information that is available in the universe. The proton, for argument's sake, one singular proton in our body contains all the information of every single proton in the universe, and that is the same with the subatomic world. So we possess the information of the universe within us. So yes, we are the universe, but we do have physical limits, not only just by the speed of light, but by other limits as well. So yes, we have means in which to connect through mind, through thought, but there are limits on the physical body.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes left before we have to say goodnight to you tonight, and this has been an amazing show so far here in regards to the way we look at life and the way we look at, everything that is a mystery to us. This leads to Joey's question. Do you have different petroglyph different interpretations for petroglyphs, that the commonly accepted ones of being directional from mountains, bodies of water, mountains, hunting, etc.?
The whole of the face of the earth has hundreds, thousands of super pyramids, super monuments. It goes beyond Earth, where the monuments of Earth are giving you the locations of monuments beyond Earth through mathematics. My interpretation is different to what is being taught in history books, what is being taught on TV programs. It is different. It is different because I've seen a different code. I've seen a different language inside all of these monoliths. Now, the only thing that has really changed is the shape of the monolith, or the shape of the monument, or the name of the gods, or the name of the prophet. The message always remained the same. Now, whether it's a pyramid or whether it's a circular Stonehenge, it still has the same message. Now, for argument's sake, when you look at the Great Pyramid, and I watched a program not so long about where scholars and Egyptologists are scratching their heads as to what the subterranean chambers mean. The Great Pyramid, what does it mean? Well, I've actually done a map overlay of the human brain over the Great Pyramid. And what I've found is that where the King's Chamber is situated is the exact location of the pineal gland, the master gland of consciousness. Where the pituitary gland is situated is where the Queen's Chamber is situated. Now, we have a giant replica of the endocrine system of human consciousness, which is marked in a gigantic pyramid in the middle of Giza. When you look at the subterranean chambers represent the subconscious mind, which feeds the conscious mind. When you look at the heads of Easter Island, why can you just see the head and the body's covered? Because it is telling you something. It is telling you, the Greeks called it the Herma, H-E-R-M-A. It is really the divine mind. They're asking you to concentrate on the divine mind. That is why you can just see the head of the heads of Easter Island. They all face east, which in cardinal directions is the location of enlightenment, the divine mind. That is why the Sphinx faces east, and that is why Egyptian mummies face east. It is the cardinal direction of illumination. They are telling you the same thing all over the world. The people have found mercury at Teotihuacan, and they're wondering why. Well, that's because of alchemy. You have sulfur, you have mercury, and you have salt, which are the three component parts of alchemy. Each of those contain the others, so therefore you have 3, 3, and 3, which is 9. The process of alchemy, the number 9. There are 9 pyramids of Giza. We have all of this wonderful code book that is formed as part of monolithic structures around the world that, as I say, archaeology won't find because it's not in the ground, it's hidden in the stones. So my interpretation is completely different to the interpretation that is being taught to the vast majority of people, because what they're being taught is not the true meaning of what was intended.
We've got about 90 seconds left with you, and I want to say thanks again for coming on Spaced Out Radio for the first time. When's your next book coming out? And obviously, we know your next appearance will be this or a week from now in San Francisco, California at the UFO Con 2020. So tell us about your books and your appearances and where you'll be.
Okay, well, thank you. A couple of months ago, I wrote 2 books simultaneously, which is The Code of Christ and Alchemy of the Gods. And Mary Rodwell kindly wrote the foreword for Alchemy of the Gods. And I wrote it simultaneously because I'd got that much information to come out. I will be writing another one soon, because as soon as I end one book, then a lot more information comes, and then that has to go into the next one. So it's that constant circular rolling of that ball where it keeps me moving forwards. Yes, I'm in San Francisco next week, and then I've got a few conferences in the UK after that, a few book signing events at major retailers and things like that. But it's all on the website, on the events page, as to what I'll be doing. But my focus at the moment is next week to fly to San Francisco to give a talk there.
Right on. I can't wait to meet you next week, my friend.
Vice versa. I think we've agreed we're probably going to land at the hotel at the same time, or round about the same time. So I will look out for you.
Absolutely. You take care. We will see you next week. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day coming up. More Spaced Out Radio. And, of course, we want to thank Michael Feeley for coming on the show tonight, talking ancient codes. We'll be back with more right after this.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. For more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thierer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to remind all of you, if you've missed most of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's move on. As we get to the Newswire. The SOR Newswire can be found on our website, spacedoutradio.com. And while you're perusing the website, don't forget you can rock out to Bumblefoot. Do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. When you do that, by the way, take a picture, because we want to put those pictures on our website of you wearing our gear. Kind of looks good. It really does, for both sides, that is. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for $5 a month as well. Let's get to the news, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, sometimes the downright political. A bill to ban transgender girls and women from playing on sports teams that align with their gender identity is advancing in the Arizona legislature. Republicans on the House Health and Human Services Committee advanced the measure in a party-line vote Thursday, following 2 hours of passionate testimony from people on both sides of the issue. Supports told lawmakers that it's unfair for girls to compete against athletes who carry male biological traits. Opponents said the measure effectively excludes transgender girls from participating in sports and learning the skills that come with it, such as teamwork and camaraderie. The legislation allows only biological women or girls to play on female teams and requires a doctor's note to prove a person is female if their birth sex is disputed. It also allows lawsuits by students who believe they've missed opportunities because a transgender person is on a school team. It would apply from K to 12 schools, community colleges, and state universities, but only to female teams. Similar legislation has been proposed in several other states, according to the American Civil Liberties Union. On Wednesday, the families of 3 female high school runners filed a federal lawsuit seeking to block transgender athletes in Connecticut from participating in girls' sports. A bus driver with a suspended license allegedly abandoned... What? He abandoned a bus full of children in the middle of dropping them off at their homes after school. What a jerk. The incident occurred apparently February 6th in Newark, New Jersey, when the bus driver just stopped dropping students off from Avon Avenue School in Newark in the middle of her bus route and instead drove to her home in another city, parked the bus, and walked out. She told the bus attendant that you're going to have to handle these kids yourself, said 11-year-old Amber Easterling, one of 14 students who were suddenly left abandoned. Amber's mother, Angel Easterling, who was worried sick waiting at home for her daughter's arrival after school at the time, was furious. I was cleaning up, getting my daughter's food ready for dinner, and I realized it was 4 o'clock and she wasn't home. I'm still sick to my stomach because right now I'm not letting my daughter take the bus to school. I'm just mad about it because, there are a lot of things happening out there on the street, kids going missing. Police officers responded to calls of the abandoned school bus around 4:30 after having missed designated stops at the children's homes and ended up locating the bus in Vailsburg. The children were taken to a police precinct and waited until their parents were able to pick them up. The bus company is Mercy USA, located in East Orange, New Jersey, but when contacted by the media, refused to answer any questions about the incident. Newark Public Schools released a statement saying Mercy USA's contract has now been canceled. The district has removed this vendor from transporting students to Avon Avenue School and is in the process of determining next steps regarding future services. In addition, because established guidelines were not adhered to, the district has also imposed liquidated financial damages for this infraction. This continues to be an active investigation. The bus driver was eventually located and issued a summons for driving with a suspended license. Police say that she was reportedly unfamiliar with the route. Oh, like that's a good excuse for dropping off children. Here's an interesting one. A prosecutor in Atlanta will decide whether to open a formal investigation after meeting with a woman who says she has evidence legendary singer James Brown's death was caused by another person. Brown, known as the Godfather of Soul, was 73 when he died of heart failure on Christmas Day in 2006 in Atlanta, less than 2 days after being hospitalized for treatment of pneumonia. A woman named Jacquet Hollander contacted Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard's office to request a meeting, claiming Brown's death was caused by another person. According to the prosecutor's spokesperson, Chris Hopper, Howard met with Hollander on Wednesday and accepted a bin of materials she said related to Brown's death. Howard will look at the materials Hollander brought and will then decide whether to open an investigation or not. If you got some money that you want to spend, how about buy some very expensive booze? Some of the world's rarest and most expensive whiskeys went on sale in an online auction of private collections amassed by the late U.S. soft drink bottling tycoon. The whiskey auctioneer company said its perfect collection, which was built by the late Pepsi bottling company executive Richard Gooden, includes 100-year-old bottles believed to be worth more than $1 million. The 3,900 bottles, mostly comprised of single malt Scotch whiskies, that will be sold in 2 lots. The first 1,949 auctioned over 10 days, starting this Friday, include a rare Macallan 1926 Valerio Adami 60-year-old and a Springbank 1919 50-year-old. One of the Macallans became the world's most expensive bottle of spirit when it sold for $1.9 million at Sotheby's in October. The second batch will be available between April 10th and 20th, and thousands have signed up for the auction on the company's website worldwide. It is the diversity with the perfect collection that is perhaps the most exciting aspect, whiskey auctioneer founder Ian McClune said in a statement. The library features samples from some of Scotland's lost distilleries, and not all are out of reach for the average whiskey lover. An old Orkney real liqueur whiskey bottled by the now-closed Stromness Distillery on Orkney in the 1930s has a starting bid of just $20. The breadth that makes it an opportunity accessible for all, for those new to whiskey collecting, to the seasoned connoisseur looking for their crown collection. Gooding, who died in 2014, was the grandson of James A. Gooding, who started Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Denver in 1936. The Colorado native spent decades flying to Scotland with his pilot to find special bottles from small distilleries. His mission was to collect a bottle that represented every single distillery. Gooding's widow, Nancy, said on the auctioneer's website. I'm not a Scotch guy. I will not be participating in that. Cool, but not for me. Upside-down jellyfish on the ocean floor release venom-filled blobs of mucus. Yeah, they're boogers. Venom boogers. ocean venom boogers, which can sting nearby swimmers, new research reveals. The jellyfish, formerly known as Cassiopeia zamachana, have a weird plant-like appearance, and they typically are stuck on the ocean's floor. According to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, these jellyfish are typically found living in the mangrove forests and lagoons of southern Florida, Hawaii, the Indo-Pacific Ocean, and the Caribbean. When snorkelers are in those areas, they sometimes develop a strange itching sensation. You will start to feel this tingling more than just itchiness, like when an itch turns into a painful discomfort, Cheryl Ames says. She is a museum research associate and an associate professor of applied marine biology at Tohoku University in Japan. Ames and her colleagues believe they have figured out why this happens. Their work was published in the Communications Biology. And the jellyfish, by the way, deploy cellular bombs, in other words, water boogers, armed with stinging cells called nematocytes. According to their study, those bombs release a skin-irritating venom when they make contact with a passing swimmer. As for how to avoid being stung, researchers are still investigating whether the jellies release the venom at certain times of the day or in response to certain types of disturbances. Water boogers. That's funny. A porcelain dish bought from a thrift store for just $17 in 1982 has recently been auctioned off for more than $32,000 in Britain. That's a nice profit margin right there. That really is. The dish, made in 1754 in Vincennes, France, during the reign of King Louis XV, was purchased for $17 by Judith Howard at a thrift store in Hungerford, England in 1982. Howard's family said she had the uncanny eye for spotting valuable antiques. She had this sixth sense when it came to finding the gems among the dross. Daughter Charlotte Howard says she was a magnet for rare antiques when you would at least expect finding them, and the Louis XV plate was not her only discovery. The plate was auctioned off this month for $32,615. Howard's full collection of plates, which also includes a plate made for Madame du Barry, Louis XV's chief mistress, and a plate made for Marie Antoinette's brother, Archduke Ferdinand, fetched a total of $484,000 at the auction. Judith's collection was probably the largest collection of Sevres porcelain in private hands, and in terms of the number of pieces, certainly rivaled that of the Queen. Woolley and Wallace ceramics expert Claire Durham said she had unearthed some true rarities, and although many of them had suffered damage, collectors were keen to acquire some of these objects, which very rarely make it into the open market. And finally tonight, boy, we're burning through the news. Wow. Finally tonight, a German farmer's unusual marriage proposal involving a cornfield and a camera drone had an unexpected side effect. It was visible on Google Earth. Stefan Schwartz said an experience helping someone else plant a corn maze gave him the idea to grow corn into the shape of words. Will you marry me? In his field in the Huttenberg area of Hesse, Schwartz said he waited for the corn to grow and then asked his girlfriend to use a camera drone to check for wild boar roaming the properties. The woman spotted the proposal on the drone's camera and turned to Schwartz, who presented her with the ring when she accepted. Schwartz said he was surprised to later learn that his proposal had been spotted on Google Earth by curious internet users. He said his aunt, who lives in Canada, sent him a screenshot of the satellite camera photo after she spotted it online. That's cool. I got to tell you, the journalist who wrote this story spelt Schwartz's last name different 4 times. I'm going to count now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 3 times. Spelled it wrong. Twice. Weird. Bad journalism right there. Bad. All right. Before I start getting on a rant about that, let's get to the thought of the day. Marty, where's that clown? Marty, we're going to have to set up a clown section on our Space Travelers Club for you. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows, and I thought I would get a little romantic with all of you. Why? Well, because it's almost Valentine's Day for me, Valentine's Day for most of you. And you know, we got to spread the love around here. So today, my thought of the day is this. If you were taking me out for dinner, old Davey, I mean, I clean up well. I do. I have a nice collection of cologne. Every now and again, I decide to shave. My teeth are always brushed. That's just the way it is. I floss too, by the way. All right? I'm hygienically, happy. Anyways, I'm not wearing a tie, though. I'm not John Tenney. I'm not going to wear a tie. But I will put a blazer on or something like that. So if you were taking me out for dinner, to wine me and dine me, where would we go? And what would we eat? I'm a pretty expensive date. Let's start off on Twitter, where Goddess Michelle says, I would take you to the finest establishment known to Dave. We're going to Taco Bell. Oh, a woman of my heart. A woman of my heart. Well, Kevin. Yeah, I'd dress up for you too, Kevin. He says, I'd take you to a haunted Taco Bell with Carl as the manager. He'd probably disappear right before I get there. Just saying. He's that guy. He's totally that guy. Let's continue on. All right. John, we're going to Mickey D's, Dave, and we're going to eat lots of chicken nuggets and McDoubles. See, I like Big Macs. I like the special sauce. Nobody knows how it's really made. I don't think we want to know, but it tastes damn good. Little Ronnie Maniak, the Ukrainian watermelon. He says we're going to Taco Bell in Hawaii. Oh, I'm in. Little Ronnie Maniak, I am in. I need a vacation. San Francisco is not a vacation. That's actually work. At least that's what I'm trying to tell myself. Tim, we're going to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Steak. Of course, it's what's for dinner. Oh, yeah, I could use a good steak. Nice medium rare, baked potato, some sautéed mushrooms, some asparagus on the side. Does that come with a lobster, Tim? That may make or break it, because I'm a lobster kind of guy. I'll even take some crab. Sparkles. Some place that served awesome ribs and also offered unusual beer. She's trying to get me drunk, old Sparkles. But ribs are good. Ribs are really good. Heidi. Okonomiyaki at Abeno in Museum Street, London. A heavenly hybrid of pizza and pancake cooked at the table. There is a fabulous paranormal bookshop a few doors down, then on to Fleet Street to have a few beers at Ye Old Cheshire Cheese Pub, the spiritual home of United Kingdom journalists. Oh, I'm in. I am so in. That sounds wonderful. You know? Absolutely. Okonomiyaki. I did say that. I actually got that right, Heidi. So if you're listening, because you're probably sleeping right now, because you're in the UK. Heidi, I got it right. Let's go to Caden. Me and Alyssa would cook you some Southern favorites, and then we'd hang out and drink her famous moonshine. That sounds perfect. That sounds perfect. I've never had moonshine before. I'd like to try some of that. You know, my dream is to actually go to New Orleans and have like a crawfish. You know, I always see these big crawfish and shrimp and corn dishes with potatoes and onions and garlic. I want to try one of those. Kelly, some place that serves lots and lots of bacon. For dessert, Taco Bell. Dude, I live in Canada. Bacon is everywhere. People use it as shingles on their house. Taco Bell, though, we could do that. Oob to Joe's Maine. He's taking me to In-N-Out Burger for a double cheeseburger. I haven't been to In-N-Out Burger in years, man. It is time to go back. Shauna in the UK, to a veggie foodery and defo, no dead animal bits for you. Yeah, I guess our date's canceled right before it starts. Edie, there's an amazing small steakhouse in Indy. They have the best aged steaks. Oh my goodness, meatgasm. Oh my goodness, can we say that on the air? Meatgasm. Or there is a rib place in Evansville called Wolf's Barbecue with the tastiest fall off the bone ribs that you'll ever want to taste. I'm in. Keith, I would take you for some good Southern barbecue. Something so good you'll slap your mama. Okay. Never thought of slapping mom before. Gail, oh, I'm not taking you anywhere. You're bringing in over 2 1-inch thick ribeye steaks and 2 potatoes. We'll barbecue and eat at the table like proper people do. Since you are so polite, I will do the dishes. Well, thank you. Will you put an apron on too? Everett. Well, Dave, first I would take you to sample day at the grocery store where we would enjoy a very selection of appetizers as we toured the store's offerings. Then, because I have coupons, we would sneak in an early dinner at Burger King and finish up the evening watching the latest action movie DVD release on multi-screen experience Walmart provides. Beautiful. Lindsay, Subway, just like the good old days, buddy. No, I'm done with Subway. Renee, Dave, I would take you to a lovely place at the beach. We'd have a lovely picnic basket, then hand you a surfboard and let you frolic with the sharks. Dolphins. Not going to play with the sharks, Renee. Marty, if you were here in Vegas, we'd go out on a Friday night for all-you-can-eat steak, prime rib, and shrimp buffet. I am in. I will be in Vegas sometime this year. I don't know when, but I'm going to Vegas this year, Marty, and we're doing that. All right. There's a bunch more on here, but I got to let you go. Most of them do say Taco Bell. Thank you for everybody playing along on the Thought of the Dave on Twitter and Facebook. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Thank you to Captain Shirk for the news and to Michael Feeley for being a great guest talking about ancient codes. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to all of you taking part in the chat rooms, especially on our website, Spaced Out Radio, in the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Thank you for listening, wherever you are. We appreciate it. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, taking part, having a lot of fun, racking up the chat room numbers, as together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. We're going to end the week talking with Tom Andritzos, Ontario Bigfoot, tomorrow night for a Valentine's Day Cryptid Fest. We'll see you here. Have a great one. Good night.